What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley. That's the one, the only, Scott Savage. Scott, what's up, buddy?
That's right. Well, I made the decision yesterday to clear a lot of my hard drive off, and that's something that is always a hard decision to make on these gen consoles.
Oh, man. What did you clear out?
Some of the past review games, and
yeah,
some I don't really want to name, but
that's fair. Fair enough. I'll go through Scott's list, everybody, let you all know. Yeah, we've been hammering games out left, right, and center around here lately. It's been good. Some not so good, and well, we just got Gollum yesterday. Man, that's going to be an interesting conversation with Steve and I next week, so make sure you stick around for that. But you should stick around for us each and every day when we're live over on youtube.com/InsideTheGameOfficial, as well as twitch.tv/TheOfficialITG. But if you can't join us live, make sure to hit us up later. Hit us up onto that Fired Up network over in your podcast services around the globe. And of course, the TV streaming networks all over the world. Scott, is how it's working. Today is another interesting lineup of games to talk about. As Take-Two CEO says GTA 6 needs to be something we've never seen before. We now know who's working on the Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater remake, and another battle royale is shutting down, Scott.
No, another one.
Yeah, of course it is. Man, what do you do, right? Like,
well,
it's
I sure hope extraction shooters do better next year.
Well, it's funny because now we're talking about this wave of takeover, right? We went from battle royale, now we are into this extraction shooter. We just saw that Marathon is Bungie's latest game. Is that an extraction shooter? It sounds to be that way. Fair Games coming out of Haven Studios is an extraction shooter. Everything's gone this way. Has nobody ever played Vigor? Yo, that's an extraction shooter. Like, dude, it's been out forever. It's great.
I feel like that one was completely ignored and nobody really knows about it, which is unfortunate because it's pretty compelling.
Very compelling. But let's get into today's story from Tom Ivan over at VGC. Had this to say: for Take-Two says GTA 6 needs to be something never seen before, but also familiar, Scott. GTA 6 is obviously a hot topic. We're always talking about it here on the show because we are just clamoring for something at this point, for more news, not leaks, Because there's been a bunch of leaks from map sizes to gameplay to rough gameplay because the game's not done, right? But Take-Two's CEO Strauss Zelnick has discussed what he views as Rockstar's major challenges when it comes to meeting expectations with Grand Theft Auto 6. According to the executive, Rockstar must walk a fine line by offering players something that feels both brand new and also reassuring familiar. Quote, in the entertainment business, we adapt our hits like they're a part of us. They're a part of our family. You know, we have a great affinity for them, and we take it personally if people screw around with them. Like, it's not okay if creators make a choice that is inconsistent with how we think these hits should be developed, end quote. He told the Good Time Show podcast. Scott, that's an interesting title. He also later said, I think that's a challenge that the folks at Rockstar face every time there's a new iteration of Grand Theft Auto. It needs to be something you've never seen on one hand, and it needs to reflect the feeling that we have about Grand Theft Auto, and that it's a big challenge for the team. Now Rockstar's answer is just to seek perfection. Seek nothing short of perfection, and we'll get there. Scott, what do you think the pressure is right now for Rockstar when you come off the biggest game, I want to say, of all time?
It very well could
right,
be.
With GTA 5?
Well, what I'm reading out of this is that there's a lot of reverence. They're holding that IP very smart and very carefully because it's their golden goose, really.
Absolutely.
And that makes a lot of sense. But we're hearing described a little bit of what I've known as sequelitis. Do you follow up a sequel with more of the same and make it bigger? Or do you, try to experiment? And in either way, you kind of alienate some of the fan base. But I'm also pretty sure it's immune to sequelitis, being about a decade old.
Yeah, man, it's funny because my kid was talking to me the other day. He says, Dad, you own Grand Theft Auto on like 5 different platforms and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I know. I bought it and then I bought it again.
Yeah, which one you want and where do you want it?
Well, that's just it, right? In one of the game's industry's most high-profile data leaks, more than an hour of GTA 6 development footage was published online last September, giving players their first look at the sequel. Excuse me. The leaked footage included an open-world gameplay from the alpha build of GTA 6, which blew my mind because everybody goes, this looks awful. Yeah, it's because it's not ready. Like, what do you
of course
expect?
it is. You're looking at dinner before it's done.
Oh, man, absolutely. Quote, certainly the leak won't have any influence on development or anything of the sort, but it's terribly disappointing, end quote. That was Zelnick who claimed that, which is frustrating. This is very disappointing, right? They got hacked. Rockstar was hacked, and a leaker went in, grabbed some footage, and then put it out everywhere. I'm like, yo, at this point, I want to see it when Rockstar is ready to show it to us and prove what's next. Scott, what do you think is next? We do know as of right now, there's a brother and sister. One goes one way, one goes the other, but it sounds like they meet back in the middle somewhere at some point, right? Do you think we're going to be swapping on the fly like we did with GTA 5?
I think that's very likely, but then again, how do you step that up and make it bigger? Or how do you experiment with that? So although that would be welcome, we've seen it already in GTA 5. I'm wondering are we going to step this forward into some of the more next gen, dare I say, concepts like always online, which I hesitate to say that for good reason, but at the same time, it could open up other possibilities, a persistent world, perhaps. Maybe you and I, we can't interact in the main game, the single player.
Right.
But if you blow up something big happens in the online space, it transfers over into single player.
Kind of like Death Stranding, right? Where people were posting bridges and stuff like that, and that would actually help you in your game, or be able to pick that up and then move it around and then continue on. And there's other things like ladders and all this kind of other stuff, right? So that was a very interesting take from Kojima making Death Stranding and what that means for a persistent online world. Do they incorporate that? But when they say we need to have something new, but yet something still familiar, you do walk that fine line, right? When it comes to Rockstar, though, man, they just nail it and nail it and nail it. And the GTA 5 is now a decade old. We're like, okay, what are you gonna show us and blow our minds away with next?
There is one aspect of it that could be worked out, and I thought it was supposed to be in GTA 5, but that's
What's
the
that?
stock exchange.
Oh yeah,
There
yeah,
was the stock exchange. You were supposed to be able to put money on it, make real world consequences, and then take your money out, and it would change the face of what was going on in the city. And I think that would work really well. If you remember, it was I think the Life Invader app was
right.
the mission that kind of introduces you to that, and it was a great system. It could have been really interesting, especially if you have a lot of these people coordinating online to super buff up one company versus the other. It could make quite a dynamic space, but am I thinking in terms of too far into the future here? Is this a PlayStation 7 idea?
Yeah, I'm not sure. The one thing I do look forward to is them integrating and moving forward on the controls. I want to have the more modern control scheme versus way back when GTA 5 came out, man. It feels clunky to go back to if you haven't
I'm not
stayed
sure if I
persistent
agree
there.
with that.
Oh man, come on. You're way off base. Have you not played
Uh,
Red Dead 2? You play GTA 5 and then go to Red Dead 2. Give me the Red Dead 2 mechanics because
I
those were
think they
smooth.
might be identical.
They are not identical whatsoever. No, there's a
I'm curious
big
to know
difference.
more, but
Yeah,
you're not alone in thinking that, but
yeah.
I'm not sure how I would change it to make it better.
Just some of the cover system feels a little clunky. Some of the ways the movement is integrated now feels what does feel good is the driving mechanic, which has always felt great in those games,
hmm
right? But it's
Actually,
just the
oh, GTA 4 had much better driving mechanics than GTA 5. I have to say that.
Nico Bellic. It's
Mm,
man, bring us a
great
remaster of
character.
that, right? That's a don't give me the first. I get people wanted the 1, 2, and 3, but man, Nico Bellic, where is Nico these days, Scott? That's the other question.
I have 3. I have Vice City, and I bought 4 again, but it's the old version of 4. I want a new 4.
Yeah, man, can you imagine next gen 4? That would be
Mm,
incredible. And this is kind of one of the things I'm looking forward to when we get into GTA 5 or GTA 6, sorry, is that we are going to step up because even going back to the remastered version or the updated version when it comes to the online component or the game itself, it looks nice, but not like Unreal Engine quality 5 nice. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So this is
there
where
is
we're
a
going to get,
new.
yeah. There's a new polish out there, right?
The bar has been raised quite a lot by Unreal 5.
Certainly has. And where the bar is going to get raised, hopefully, once again, is with Metal Gear Solid 3, or what people are now calling Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Scott, we finally have the development is being supported, Scott, supported by Virtuous Studios. This is Michael over at
Mhm.
PSU. Konami has confirmed previous rumors that Virtuous Studios is involved in the development of Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, aka Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake. Just to
Mhm.
keep that in mind. But when asked who the development team behind the Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake is, the publisher responded with the following. Quote, in addition to... Did you see this?
There's a misspell there.
Kanagi's, I'm like, no, that's Konami, development team who is involved in the development of the Metal Gear Solid series. The game is fully supported by Virtuous, which is a development company that has been cooperating with past Metal Gear series. Not only that, Scott, they do have a pretty good pedigree when it comes to supporting other games. Not only are we getting Metal Gear Solid now, Delta Snake Eater, but they've also supported games in the past like Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Horizon Forbidden West, Callisto
Okay.
Protocol. So they do have a pedigree there to kind of hold up. So this is nice to see that we are getting a popular studio, a well-known studio, but the other studio is Konami. Does that make you nervous at all without having Kojima
Mm.
at the helm?
Oh, without Kojima at the helm, yeah, that's certainly not the most inspiring. But and again, it's just Konami knows what they're dealing with, right? Surely they must
Surely
know.
they do, but
Well, nobody wants to survive too, and I don't think Konami does either.
no, I don't think they do whatsoever. It is nice to hear that David Hayter will return, according
Yes,
to some info. Yes.
that is one of the biggest details, other than the mere existence of Delta.
Yeah. Besides finally getting the reveal at the PlayStation Showcase that yes, again, just a cinematic trailer though, Scott kind of hurts me a little bit,
Mm.
right? I want to see what does the game look like. How far out do you think we are of actually receiving the game?
Yeah, was it supposed to be this year, or is that something else that I'm thinking of?
I don't think it was ever
I'm not
actually
sure.
mentioned. There was rumors that yes, it was coming, but Virtual Studios has been rumored as far back as 2021 to be involved in the remake of Metal Gear
Mm.
Solid 3. So we've already got 2 years under our belt. I'm going to assume, Scott, you know how that well that works, but
Mm.
I'm going to assume that they've been working on it prior to 2021, that they just finally got caught. One way of putting it, right, is that they finally somebody unraveled the fact that they were one of the developers working on the game.
I need a soundboard with the exclamation point sound. They
Dude, I
got
got
caught.
it's
Blink.
it's tattooed on my arm actually. So it is. I made sure it was there. It's like that has to be in this little piece. So it's very exciting to see that they're finally going to give us something. And if they can match the quality of the cinematic trailer to the actual game itself,
Oh, it's gonna be a
wow,
beautiful
right?
game. You're
Dude.
gonna get lost in the jungle a couple times.
So here's the thing. Do you start, if you've never played Metal Gear before, do you start with the older game, Scott, or do you jump in with Snake Eater, the remake?
Ooh. I think that I think that determines almost what your favorite game is out of the series.
Fair enough.
Myself, I played number 2 first, and that was something I really, really loved. But then I went back and played number 1, and that became my favorite. And then I played 3, and that became my favorite. So I think I would recommend the same pace. If you're gonna go back in time, they did already put, was it 2, 2, 3, and Peace Walker? They're already on a compilation disc on
Yes.
360. So that is an
Right.
option that I would recommend because that will get you into 2. It's a little more modern, a little more cleaned up. And I think that's a good jumping off point because number 1 is not available yet until this Metal Gear Solid
The Master
Volume 1
Collection.
releases. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
The Master Snake Collection.
But nothing's been updated. So here's where I'm thinking. We get the Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater remake, right? Is this the starting point of Metal Gear remakes coming out? Do they then jump back to 1, 2, 4, and then 5? We could be getting new Metal Gear for years.
I sort of thought that's what was going on with the volume compilations.
Well, so the volume compilation, though, is just here's the package of the game. They now run on current gen hardware, right?
Even number 1, though?
Even
That's a
number 1.
PlayStation 2 game.
Yep, apparently that's all it is. There's no high def resolution upgrades, no gameplay mechanics. Like they are building Snake Eater from the ground up, being remade for current gen consoles. Are we going to now go back in time once this is done, taken care of, and probably to some major success? Is what I
would expect so.
Right? Does that then put Konami on this wave of remaking all of the Metal Gear?
I certainly hope so because
Man,
I think
imagine?
I think this will turn over commercially very well, depending on how much it costs to produce this new Delta version.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to sell extremely well, and in that case, I really hope so. We bring it all back because everybody still loves. If you love Snake Eater, I think you pretty well love all of the Metal Gear games.
I think so. I think this is the way Konami can kind of build that trust back and then produce something else, right? Or get another studio working on another game that says, hey, we are Konami. We are back in the industry. No longer are we just held to Kojima, which is something that they now suffer because they lost Kojima. And with Kojima Productions out there making Death Stranding 2, and whatever they're working on with Xbox, we kind of lose that fandom and that kind of that wow factor. So now they have the original games, just build off of what the foundation is and make those over again. Dude, go back to Shadow Moses. Like, I can't wait to get his part 1.
Please that instead of something new. I don't want to see something new without Kojima there. I don't think it can happen legally, and that's good. We are all better for it.
Absolutely. But what's not better is, remember Super People? Well, it's being shut down this year. This is Grant Taylor Hill over at Insider Gaming. Super People wasn't exactly a rags to riches story of unbound success, but for a while, it was gathering steam on an emerging battle royale game. It was written up as being a super-powered PUBG that offered players the potential of being a superhuman combatant on the battlefield, and for a brief period of time, it was appreciated by plenty of people. However, following the player count declining faster than basically anything else in history, it has been confirmed that Super People, now known as Super People 2, will be shut down forever on August 21st, 2023. Scott, another battle royale bites the dust.
Yeah, well, that's what they say. Only one can remain. Such is the rules of Battle Royale. When I had read the headline to this, I actually did legitimately wonder, hold on, super people. That
Mhm.
tickles a memory way back there.
I looked at it and then went, nope, not for me. This is I am a PUBG fan. That's where I really kind of got into that battle royale scene. Then obviously we jumped into Warzone, we jumped into Apex, we jumped into Fortnite.
Mhm.
Right? When you have the top dogs already there, it then makes you kind of concerned to see who else can kind of jump on the bandwagon in a sense, Scott, and then overthrow them. Can anybody overthrow Fortnite, Apex, Warzone? Is that even possible now at this point? PUBG is
I
kind of now
don't
gone in a sense, right? Like they have a player base, but it's not as big as what it once was.
Yeah, I feel like PUBG has sort of been retired as the first generation of battle royales, but now we're on
Yeah.
to much further down the line. So I don't think you can defeat Fortnite. Not unless our entire society moves on to the next biggest battle royale offshoot. Because now we're on to extraction shooters. Will that
Yeah.
take the limelight? Maybe. I'm not so confident, but maybe the next idea will.
Hmm. Man, oh man. I don't know.
I
Yeah.
really like that grounded battle royale experience though. So super people I don't think was for me.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing too, right? The PUBG puts us in a much more grounded reality than anything else we actually play. So I kind of like that feeling. I like the pace of it. I know the pace isn't for everybody because a lot of people are like it's slow. I'm like I know, and that's what I like because then I can line up my sniper
Mhm.
shot, take the guy out. Right? I don't have that twitch mechanic behind me when it comes to playing like Call of Duty that you need, right? You got to be fast on your toes and stuff like that. And for me,
Mhm.
that's just not my kind of play style. I'm much more of a stealth guy. So stealth lends itself relatively well when it comes to PUBG. Not so much to Apex or Fortnite, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
it's
Apex does come from the Titanfall universe, though. I expect that to be fast. That's okay with me.
yep, no, absolutely. I just don't like the bullet sponge mechanic behind it. That's where it gets me,
Yeah,
right?
I agree with you there.
Yeah, that's where I'm like, I'd be around here a lot more. But that sponge mechanic kind of nails me every time. I do love Revenant though. Man, he's
It's
such a
funny how it always
what a
works
character.
against me. I
Yeah.
never survive while being the bullet sponge.
Fair enough. Scott, I do wonder if this will survive Will Smith finally picking a game to star in, and it's a free-to-play survival shooter. This, I saw a trailer for this. I was like, what is going on here? This is Christopher Livingston over at PC Gamer. Lightspeed Studios, best known for his co-developing PUBG Mobile, and Will Smith, best known for slapping comedian Chris Rock on the live television, have teamed up for a free-to-play open-world survival shooter called Undawn. Jokes aside, Will
That
Smith is one of the biggest movie stars in the world, an Academy Award winner and a four-time nominee, whose films have earned nearly $9 billion worldwide.
oh, and he has a wicked right hand.
Right? Oh, man. Except for a Fortnite skin, this appears to be Smith's first real video game role. And if I were to picture him as a face of the game, I guess it would be something a little more grand, like Keanu Reeves in Cyberpunk 2077. Dude,
Hmm.
interesting take here. We first heard about Undawn in 2019. It was originally called Dawn Awakening, but it's finally in the brink of release. The free-to-play multiplayer survival game launches on June 15th for mobile devices and on PC.
Oh, mobile and PC crossover.
Interesting, Scott. We'll see
Is
if it
that
makes a way to console or not.
is that confidence inspiring or is that the opposite?
I think it's opposite. I don't know.
I think it's the opposite, unless you're going for Eastern market, which for some reason seems to be where the mobile numbers are.
Yeah, very much so. I don't know. Are you gonna check it out at all?
I'm very curious, but is this a survival online battle royale shooter? In which case, are the days numbered?
Yes. Well, yeah, it's gone. It is free to play. So that is one thing to take note of, right? So what are they going to give us? Battle passes, skins, the usual cosmetics to buy, right? To keep this game alive.
Mhm.
You got to keep the services or the servers going somehow. You got to keep the lights on at the studio. How do you do that? Well, without being too greedy, right? There's a
Yeah, you
fine
can't be too
balance of
predatory.
yeah, exactly. There's a fine balance of charging for some of these skins and assets and things like that. So I don't know. We'll see
As
what
long as
happens.
as long as it's that and not mobile kind of energies, ooh, that never works
Oh
out well.
man, you're out of energy. Buy this now, and you can continue playing. Nope, delete.
The last time I did that was Sims on Facebook.
dude, I just delete the game. I'm like, I'm not doing this. This is not how I game.
No.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. But Scott, we actually have a couple of games out today. What do we have?
We do. We have Forspoken in Tanta, we trust. And that is on PC, PS5. We have Alone in the Dark Prologue. This is released on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S, I presume. Sheepy, a short adventure, is on PC. I wonder if you're counting sheep in that. Could explain why it's short. The Baby in Yellow is on PC Early Access.
Weird.
And Replicator is on PC, PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, XS, and the Switch.
There you go, dude. Scott or Steve and I are gonna check out Forspoken in Tanta We Trust. I was a little bit more high on Forspoken than most. I'm deaf. It's funny. Most times I'm in around where everybody else is feeling, but I kind of enjoyed that game a little bit more than others. It's one of those.
It's divisive.
Yeah, it very much was. And it's funny because now Steve is on the other side. He's like, man, I don't like this game. I'm like, I get where you're coming from. I just happen to like it. I don't, whatever. It is what it is.
That makes for a fun review.
It certainly does. What are you playing this weekend, man?
I'm playing a lot of Bolt Gun, Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun.
There you go.
And I'm loving it. I'm reminded that Darktide came out and I completely ignored it, as well as Necromunda. I completely ignored that as well. But this time, Warhammer 40k has landed, at least from what I can tell so far.
Well, that's fair. There you go. I'll be playing more Tears of the Kingdom. What else, mate? I've got a PC thing.
I want to play
PC
more,
preview coming up here shortly as well. Corey and I are going to be working on that, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And I'm working on Lord of the Rings Gollum.
I'm excited to hear what you have to say about that one.
I was 45 minutes in and was not feeling so hot. I'm going to be honest. So there's
some interesting glitches.
Man, I was baffled by some of it already. I'm only 45 minutes in. I was like, what is going on here? So yeah, we'll see how the future holds up for that game, as it's reviewed as one of the worst games so far this year. But Scott, just like that, our show is coming to an end, everybody. It is the weekend, so we'll be back on Monday. Scott is actually taking a couple days off, so I'll be back. But until Monday, everybody, have a great weekend. I'm Drew, that's Scott. We'll see you inside the game.